During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk about modes of action when it comes to herbicide control of weeds.
Well, if you're not a farmer, or if you've never used a herbicide, you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, aren't all herbicides just the same? I use herbicide and it kills weeds. Actually, there are a lot of different modes of action, so a lot of different ways that a herbicide can work inside a plant. And it's often thought of like pharmaceutical products for humans. Well, you could take something for a runny nose or something different for a fever, perhaps.
Well, wait, now a better example would be you could take 3 different things for fever that might all be from 3 different chemical families, and that's really what it comes back to. So we've got to look at what's the mode of action and what category does that really fall into, because ultimately what we're trying to do as farmers is just get the weeds under control. That's all we care about. But you may have heard, if you're a non-farmer, about weed resistance. So for example, you might have water hemp as a weed. It might be resistant to the ALS family of herbicides. It might be resistant to the glyphosate family of herbicides. But you know what? It may not be resistant to the flumioxazin family, the PPO family. So we're trying to find the right categories of products that will still control the weeds. And then ultimately what we want to do is find 2 or 3 categories of herbicides that will kill the same weed, because then we know there's very, very little chance of building resistance. What we always say is this: a dead weed can't become a resistant weed. So we just want to make sure every weed is under control out there. Then we don't have to worry about weed resistance.
Another consideration as farmers is we really have found that rotation works well for us. So if we're planting corn one year, soybeans next year is a great way to get away from some of the bugs that impact corn. Well, they don't impact soybeans. Some of the weeds, diseases, those kinds of things vary. And we found that rotation in the herbicides that we use works quite well too.
Okay, so when Darren talks about crop rotation, that's what we would call a cultural practice. And you might consider that another mode of action to control the weed. We certainly do. So we're trying to look at everything we can possibly do, whether it's getting good crop canopy, having better soil drainage, putting the rows closer together, a lot of those non-herbicide things. But today, really, we wanted to focus on, with herbicides, there are different, what we call modes of action, basically different categories of herbicides. We want to find multiple categories of herbicides and use multiple categories of herbicides to control our weeds all the time to prevent resistance.
Well, one of those weeds we may be going after out in our fields is our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?